I literally have been sitting here trying to think of something funny to say to start this video off with, and I can't think of anything. So, third time's a charm. Take three. Hello and welcome to the Piece4PeaceCrafting podcast. I'm your host, Michael. This is a knitting, crocheting podcast, just following along with my fun, fibery adventures. To anyone who is returning this week, thank you so much. And to anyone who is just checking out the channel for the first time, welcome, and I hope you stick around to see what I've been working on. So, it's been 2 weeks, which is wild. Can't even believe it. And yeah, it's been 2 weeks. There's been a lot going on for me personally. And I'm just here to hang out with you all for a little bit to sort of take my mind away from some things. So, welcome. Right off the bat, I think that it is important or should be acknowledged. Thank you so much to the guys Kevin and Ray over at Needles at the Ready for shouting me out in their podcast last week. That was so sweet. And for all the people who have come over from watching their channel, who are now subscribing to mine and want to see what I'm working on, thank you all so much. It means a lot. It's so great to see like just the community working together and sharing, oh, this is what I enjoy, this is what I enjoy, and helping build a better community, I think is just always really, it's just really nice to see. So thanks you all. Hello, if you're watching. All right, well, let's get into it. So I have a few things to talk about today. I actually took notes this time because my last video ended up being 45 minutes long, which I was not planning on. And when I was done recording and I looked at the time, I probably spent the same amount of time laughing because I was like, how did you even find 45 minutes worth of things to talk about? But apparently it happens, so whatever. Okay, so let's start with some FOs. The first one is my completed For Fox's Sake sweater. This is the For Fox's Sake. It's by Maxim Sear. There's a lot that I want to say about this. This was sort of, there's a lot of roses and thorns to this project. So for me, if you've seen like I think I talked about it in my first episode maybe. There's only been 3, so there's not a lot. You can go back and catch up. Anyway, I just learned to make sweaters this year. Or I wanted to learn how to make sweaters this year. So I've done that. It's been really great. I've really been enjoying it. So for me, I saw this sweater and I was like, oh, it's so cute. Like, I really want to try doing it. Now, I've only done color work, like stranded color work on small things, like maybe a hat or something. Very easy, simple. And I found that with doing that, I was like, oh, well, I've done it. I should probably be able to like do it on a bigger scale now. Well, not the case. So, a couple thorns. I'll save the roses for the end. The color work, for me, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it does pucker some still. And so in the pattern it says like, if you think that your gauge is going to be tight, make sure you go up a needle size. So initially when I started the project, I was like, oh, I'll be fine. Like, I've done some color work before, like, don't worry about it. I got about halfway through the chart and it was a disaster. Like, I could tell it wasn't going to stretch out at all. So I knew it wasn't very far. Suck it up, rip it out. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, I want it to be amazing. So I ripped it out and I went up a needle size. So I was using a US 6, went up to a US 7. Started doing the color work. Looked like it was going to be better. So I got through it, was loving it, really great. Did the rest of it, no problem. Or switched when I got to the body back to the 6 so that was like a better fit for me. Great. Went and did my sleeves 2 at a time. Now, even on the sleeves, I used the colors that are in the yoke, and I put them in the sleeve band too, just because I think that's a fun, cute little detail. I also did it along the bottom of the sweater too. The ends aren't woven in for this either, just yet, because I'll talk about that in a second. So even after blocking, I feel like there's still a little bit of puckering, but honestly, for like it only being my 4th sweater and my first project with like this detailed, intensive color work, I don't mind it at all. I'm still gonna rock it. I think it's absolutely adorable. Like, it's really cute. Yeah, and I'm in love with it, so that's a rose. Another thing, I didn't take into account that I had to go up, or that I went up a needle size for the color work. So when I did my sleeves, I did it on a 6, like it says to do. But I don't know if this happens to anyone else. Like, I do my gauge swatch because for my head, it's better if I just do a gauge swatch. And my stitches across are always good, but like my row is never, it's like whatever. It never is what they say that it needs to be, but I'm fine with that because I know in my head, when I'm trying something on, especially a garment, like I can stop a little bit sooner than like what I normally would, because I know that once I block it, it's gonna like stretch out some. Cool. So having done the yoke, now I'm onto the sleeves. I'm doing them 2 at a time. I'm like, yes, this is so awesome. This is gonna be done soon. I forgot to take into account that this was bigger. So my sleeve length ended up being, it covers my hand, which I'm a little bit okay with. I thought about possibly going, like leaving the cuff and then just like finding a spot after one of the decreases on both of the sleeves and picking up the stitches, cutting it, and then like just getting rid of like maybe 2 inches and then Kitchenering it back together. You know what I mean? So like doing a little sleeve surgery. But in all honesty, like the sleeves are a little bit long. I live in Chicago. It's cold here. And even if I do wear it out, like it might be nice to just like pull them down, have them, you know, be long. So that's whatever. Roses, I love the pattern is so beautiful. It was so much fun to work on. I had a great time doing it. I like challenging myself. So because I knew I wanted to make sweaters and I'd seen this pattern and it was something that I really wanted, it wasn't like, I'm not really bummed out that it didn't turn out exactly the way that I wanted, because I have to give myself some grace and knowing that like it's your 4th sweater you've ever made. Calm down. It'll get better. And I learned a lot from it too, which I also think is a rose in this rose and thorn situation. Like, just because it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to doesn't mean that I didn't learn a lot in the process. And so now I know for next time, here are some things that I can do to make it better. Also, I think in my last episode, I showed that Colorwork Bible book, which I've started going through and just like reading some stuff, as in addition to like watching some videos and stuff on YouTube, just to like learn more about colorwork, because there's so many beautiful sweaters out there. Or just even other projects that I'd really like to try, that I just need to be like, oh, you just need more practice at this before you really get the hang of it and know what your tension is for doing a project like this. So in the end, I absolutely love it. I know even the ends, I'm probably going to leave the sleeves long just because, yeah, and hopefully take some finished object photos of it soon. Oh, the yarn is all Knit Picks Gloss DK, just to say it again. The main color is navy. The darker gray is Hawk. The lighter gray is Robot. And this orangish color is Masala. Yeah, I loved working with the yarn. Someone reached out to me, I can't remember if it was on YouTube or on Instagram, and said that they'd used this yarn before and it pills a little bit, so I will keep an eye out for that. Again, that's not something that like really bothers me too much, or at least it doesn't bother me now too much. But yeah, it's something that I'll just look out for. But I'm absolutely in love with it. It's adorable. Yeah, it's just adorable. So I can't wait. If anything, it makes me want to try doing this sweater again. Now knowing some of the things that I know, having done it the first time through. So that's finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 is, so I wanted to record yesterday, actually, get it up on a Saturday, but I finished my Slipstravaganza, so the mystery, the Stephen West mystery knit along. So I finished it, and I blocked it, and I wanted it to dry so that I could show it here. So I just decided to wait and record today, which is whatever. So, all the yarn that I use is Murky Depth Dye Works, like I've said before. I'll show how much I have left in just a second. But, again, so this literally, I pulled it off of the mat this morning, or the blocking mats this morning. The ends, I just need to go back and snip them. And actually, I saved them because I wanted to talk about weaving in the ends here. Because I did the weave-ins, Steven, I think it's called, throughout the whole project. So literally all I have to do is go back and just snip off my ends. But, you guys, I'm so excited. Here is, it's so big, it's going to be hard to see in the camera. Here is my finished Slipstravaganza. I can't. Like, what is happening? So, wait, let me try to put this on. So, it's massive. Like, scrunched up, I thought that it was gonna be big. Well, I knew it was gonna be big, obviously. And then, yes, get into it. And then, yeah, you block it and you're just like, oh, this thing is really, really massive. I opted to do the large version. So I have 6 of the chevron stripes at the ends after this little triangle section. And I really don't know what to say. This was my first time doing, here, let me take it off now. This was my first time doing a mystery knit along, like I've said before. So like, it was really cool to just like every week get a new section of the pattern, slowly go through it like at your own pace. Cause like, in all honesty, I know some people were like, oh, I'm trying to keep up. And granted, I did have that a little bit too, but also it's just like, you have the pattern. Like, when you get done with it, you get done with it. Like, it's not a race, you know, sort of thing. But surprisingly, like, it was eating up all of my time because it was so exciting to work on. So I didn't really work on much else while I was working on well, granted, I finished this sweater, but yeah, towards the end, like when I got to the last clue, I was just primarily only working on this. Now, I will say, okay, so wait, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So, where's the first side? So, when I was talking about going back and trimming the ends, like all my ends, they're already woven in because I did the little technique of doing it while I was, like whenever I changed color. So literally all I have to do is go through and snip all these off. And I know that like in the tutorial that Steven has for it, he says like, oh, just go like 8 or 10. I'm obnoxious and I would go more than that just because I was like, I don't want to chance it, like whatever. So yeah, I feel like I don't need to like double back on myself for any of them. And I think there's one triangle. Yep, here it is. Just found it. One of the triangles that I didn't catch it as I was picking up for the border. So I have to go in and do that one. But for the most part, everything's done. You all, I opted to do the bigger border, right? And if you follow me on Instagram, You may have seen this because I posted it in my stories. So I did the bigger version. I like get to the last thing. I do the last row. And this isn't a spoiler because like it's out now, but it's 950 stitches, right? So like so many. So for fun, I'm like, I'm gonna put my stopwatch on my phone and just like see how long it's gonna take me to like do an I-cord bind off across the whole thing. I did take pauses, like, oh, I need to, whatever, get a drink of water, have some tea, maybe eat. And so like you can pause it and you can pick it back up, which is really great. By the end of me binding this off, it took me, and I'm like not fast nor slow. I feel like I'm like a moderate pace crafter, knitter, crocheter. It took me 4 hours and 15 minutes. I know. I can hear some of you saying, I'm sorry, what? How long? Yeah, 4 hours and 15 minutes to bind this bad boy off. Like, I was just laughing, honestly. Like, when I saw how much time it was, I was like, this is so ridiculous. But the end result is just, I can't wait for it to get just even a little bit more cool outside, so I can just wear this literally everywhere. It's like it's a schlanket. It's huge. I'm in love with my colors. Yeah, it's so bomb. Like, it's really great pattern. Bravo, Steven. I've had so much fun. I definitely want to do the mystery knit along again next year. It like made me excited to want to do more of them, just because it is cool to like get the pattern and have no idea what it looks like in your inbox. So as far as one of them fell, as far as yarn that I have left over, I'm gonna put them on here. So I weighed, dear. I weighed how much yarn I had left. So this, I can stack this one. This is all I have left from doing that. So again, I use Murky Depths Dye Works in her La Merino base. It is, where's my little, you all, I'm a little bit all over the place right now. So her La Merino or La Mer fingering, it's 40% llama, 40% merino, 20% nylon, and it's 414 yards to 100 grams. So they're for me, that's a nice size. So again, my main color, I had 2 skeins of this originally. This is all I have left. This was Butte. This was cornflower. This was dark walnut. This was coralite. So in the end, I actually have them written on this notebook. I had 18 grams left of my main color, 21 grams left of my dark walnuts, 24 grams of the coralite, and 27 grams of the cornflower color, which, like, that's cool. I don't mind having leftovers, obviously, but I did think maybe it would be fun, because that's like 80 grams left. I did think it would be cute to maybe try to make like a little scrappy hat out of all of these colors, or even marling them. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, it was nice to have a little bit left. I wasn't nervous at all about, well, because I'd read how much you needed for the actual project, so I knew I was going to have some left over. But yeah, I was surprised at like, oh, this is like, it's not a lot, but it's enough to like do a little something with in the end. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Really happy. Like I said, I can't wait to rock it and wear it out. It's so boss. So good times for that. Yay. moving right along. So, the last episode I showed that I wanted to start whips. Let's talk about what I'm working on now that that thing is done and I can focus on some other things. Because literally the border, I kind of stopped like I said, I stopped everything else just to focus on that. So, last night, the night before, I said in my last episode that I wanted to do the Grace Pullover by Denise Byron. It's a beautiful sweater, has some cables down the front. So, I had a chance to do it. Start it, not do it. Calm down. Again, I'm doing it in the Knit Picks. Can you see the lights? In the Wool of the Andes in the bulky weight, and this is the current colorway. So I got a bunch of skeins of this to actually shout out to Knit Picks. They sent this over to me to try for this whip. And so I started this the other night, and the thing about bulky stuff, like I know, I've heard other people talk about it. I've made one other, was that true? Yes, what is it called? The Wave of Change jacket, by Denise Byron, is a bulky weight jacket, cardigan type thing. I've made that, so that was bulky. And doing stuff with bulky weight is awesome because it's just like, oh, and it's done because it's bulky. So I started this pullover. I'm loving the color. Where can I hold it so you can see it best? I'm loving, here's good. The color, and it's got these 3 just simple little cables that go down the front. I'm totally into it. They're very easy. It's also my first time doing cables without a cable needle. She has a great video in a tutorial on how she does them. Really awesome. So it was fun, like after working on such a big project like the Slipstavaganza, to come to something that was, while it is a big project, is a little more manageable, I guess. Because, it's the beginning of the sweater. There's not many stitches. You're like building it. It's clearly not going to be as big as that thing. So yeah, it'll just be way easier. But I'm loving it. The only thing that I have to say about the yarn so far is when I did my swatch, it seemed to be a little bit airy in between, but this project's done on US 13s, so huge needle. So I suspect that there will be a little bit of airiness that runs throughout it, but also I'm not too worried about it because I gonna always have a t-shirt or a long sleeve just shirt underneath, so it's fine. Yeah, I'm really excited to work on this a little bit more because it is working up so quick, and I'm loving the color. This dark, it's gonna be so awesome in the winter to just bust this out and wear. I'm keeping this. Okay, so not to jump ahead, but it's my podcast, so I can do whatever I want. So you all, I had this sweater if you see my first episode, I showed it. It was living in this what are those called? In this bag, in this project bag that I'd made. I don't sew, so it's not the best, but it does the job, right? And this project bag I made that has seagulls on it. It used to be a pair of pants. Don't at me. I know. I had pants with seagulls on them. They were awesome. And so while I was making this, I wanted to start this other sweater, and I'm like, shoot, I don't have a bag big enough to house it in, so that it's just not in my apartment, just whatever. Anyway, everywhere. So I saw that Beautiful Sister, also Chicago, local, I'll link their shop below, was having an update, and I have a bunch of their bags already. I was like, okay, dope, awesome. Ayana, log on, see what they have, let's do this. So I got this huge, can you even get into it? This big sweater size bag that they, I just got a sweater size bag from them. So I originally went into their shop to try to get a sweater size bag. They have amazing customer service. I wrote them, because another bag of theirs that I have, I think is called the Jocelyn. All their bags are like named after women in their family, I do believe. Comment below if that's wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And so I wrote them and I was like, hey, I just want to know, like, the sweater bag, I saw something else that you all had in your shop. Like, is this the same thing? And it ended up not being the same thing. And so they said, oh, if there's a fabric that you like, you can custom order. So I did a custom order for this bigger sweater size bag. I want to say it's called the Melanie bag. They didn't have any in their shop, so this was a custom order. So, like, don't rush over there and be like, I need one of those. Not that you would, you know what I mean? But I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm happy with the fabric choice that I picked, because this plaid is totally poppin'. Like, I'm into it. It's giving me all sorts of vibes. Right. An amazing purchase. I have one more thing from them that I'll show you all in a little bit. But I'm super happy with this, and this is housing my Grace sweater right now. My next two things are like sort of, well, one of them, here, I'll show this one first, because it's like sort of cast on and I want to get into it more now that, again, everything is now that this Slipstravaganza is done, I can like do other things. It's like, it was eating up so much time, like in an amazing way. So the next thing I'm going to be working on is a little bit of a holiday Christmas thing. I love a sentimental gift. I just do. Like, friends of mine have come and asked me, like, if they lose someone in their family who maybe was a crafter, to just like make something for them in like memory of them. Like, I had a really good friend who lost their parent, their mom, and she was a crafter, and so she had made my friend a bunch of sweaters when my friend was like in college or whatever. And my friend was like, I just want a really great way to like incorporate these into something. Like, can you do something for me? So I was like, absolutely, let me see what I can do. And I ended up taking the sweaters and unraveling them and using that yarn with some other yarn that I'd gotten that was like very neutral, and like crocheting them into a massive, like, a little bit bigger than a queen size blanket, to then re-gift back to her. So like repurposing these sweaters that she had a lot of attachment to, and then giving them sort of a little bit of new life, but something that I felt like, oh, she can wrap up in and like remember her mom in like a really special way. Loved doing that project for her, because that's just who I am. Anyway, another friend of mine last Christmas, so in the before times, maybe about 2 weeks before Christmas, she was like, oh, hey, would you be interested in like helping me with a project? I said, sure. So her Nana, who I don't think is no longer with us, her Nana used to make Christmas stockings for all the kids and everyone in their family. She's married now. My friend is married now and has a little one. And she's like, oh, I thought it would be so great if I could, I could get more stockings for them. She crafts, but like having a little one, I think the little one's like 1 or 2, maybe almost 2. She like just doesn't have the time to. So I'm like, yes, absolutely. She said, I have the pattern that my Nana used to make. Can you look through it and see if you can do anything with it? Absolutely. You guys, this pattern is like, I tried to find it, but it's like an older pattern. A lot of it is handwritten because she made modifications to it. And so I'm literally just going through and reading like the modifications, and now also trying to update it for now. So like not doing it flat, doing it in the round, because that's easier for me. Anyway, I'm going to show you one. So my friend's stocking had got little like moth holes or something in a couple spots. So I get to do a fun little repair job on them. I don't know if you can, oh, there you go. I get to do a fun little repair job, which I'm super excited about because I've never done that before. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to fix this for her. And then I started just reading the pattern from Nana to start the ones for her little one and for her now husband. So I'm really excited. It's a cuff. There's not much to show here. But I'm really excited to get this up and going. And hopefully that'll be done by Thanksgiving, because I would love for them to have it, especially, by the time Christmas rolls around. But before it's like super cold out. And yeah, people are already decorating for the holidays in my neighborhood. I don't know about where you all are, but this is a little bit of a tangent. I was on a walk the other day, and I was just going through my neighborhood, and because it gets dark at 4 now here. That's dramatic. 4:30, whatever. People have their lights on in their house or whatever, and I was walking, and literally someone in the front window had full-blown Christmas tree, lights, decorations, everything up. And you know what? I feel like I would be oh my gosh, sort of grinchy about it. I can't believe you're putting up your Christmas decorations now. But it actually made me so happy when I saw it. I was just absolutely. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's just do whatever you want. So if you feel like you want to put up your holiday decorations now, go for it. I'm all about that life. If you want snowmen on your mantle, have at it. Also, it's your house. Who's going to stop you? Anyway, my next thing is sort of not sort of. It's going to be an awesome project. So a friend of mine on Instagram, her name's Chanel. You may know her. She has she does pins. She is Shawnee P's Corner. So she has these pins that she sells on. She has an Etsy shop. I will obviously link it down below. I'm obsessed with these two. This one says have yarn will travel, with the little yarn balls on top of a car. Is that a taxi? I can't see. And this one is cakes in what looks to me to be like a cast iron skillet, and it just says she wants that cake, like that Rihanna song. Cake, 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 cake. Anybody? Okay. These are adorable. So she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I think I posted a memory of some socks, and she was like, oh my gosh, you make socks, this is amazing. So she reached out and she asked if I would make her a pair of socks. I was like, girl, yes. So she was gonna send me the yarn. I have these pins because she was so nice and sent, so it's a little bit of piecemeal. She sent me some pins as a thank you for doing this. And also, which was super generous, she sent me a skein of yarn as a thank you for making them. So my next whip, it hasn't even been started yet, but I did want to show this. But this is, I've seen her stuff on the onlines, but this is Le Francis, and it's hand-dyed yarn. And this really beautiful, it's called Nevada Sunset. It's on the Simple Sock base, which is 100% superwash merino, 400 yards, for 100 grams. It's a 2-ply, and it's this beautiful color, Nevada Sunset. And I thought it was so pretty, and I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. Here, I can even open it up. Why not? I'm not sure with the tag how it will look, but it's so pretty. It's got dark sections. It's sort of greenish, but brownish. Yeah, there's some little pops of color, little specks of color in there. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. So I don't know what this is gonna be. It's probably just gonna live behind me for a little bit. So I caked it up so that I could start those socks soon. It's so fun, I think, seeing different, just the transformation that yarn takes. So seeing it rolled up in a skein, and then it looks completely different than when you cake it up, which looks completely different from when it's in a project. It's some straight up witchcraft, but I'm here for it. So even seeing that into this, I was like, oh, this looks way different. So I'm super excited to work on these. I think these are going to become probably, I want to try the Coffee Talk pattern by Tracy Miller. It's just a sock pattern. I thought it'd be really cute. Well, it looks cute. I've never done it before. So I think that this yarn might become those. So hopefully in the next episode, I'll be able to, show you my progress on that. The last thing I have, actually two things, sorry, is, so I talked about that one Beautiful Sister bag, absolutely love. And while I was in their shop, I wanted to get something else, just because I love supporting them. I have a bunch of their bags. It's so funny. I went from like not having any project bags to like, I need one for everything, or just ones to sit in the corner and look nice. Anyway, this was another bag of theirs. Bam! Pops of color. Just so awesome. This is another one of those like wax canvas bags that they have the collaboration with, where some of the proceeds go to helping refugees. It's super deep. It has a fun pocket on the inside with the same fabric. This, like, I don't even know what to say. This bag is poppin'. Literally. It's so, the pattern is so epic. I love these African print bags. Like, sign me up all day, every day. So I'm super excited to, at some point, put something in that because it's just so great. Yeah, such a good bag. All right, last thing is, so like I said, I'm sure like most of us, we all watch a ton of different people on different, or watch a lot of different podcasts, or maybe you don't, maybe you just have a couple that you watch. And I love when people do recommendations at the end, whether it be for books or different podcasts they're watching. That's how some of you came to me, is by people recommending coming over to my channel. And so I thought that I would like to add a little segment or something like that to mine as well. So like if you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen, if you look at my stories, that sometimes I post what music I'm listening to. And so I thought that'd be kind of fun just to add at the end of an episode, because why not? It's my podcast, I can do what I want. So I love music. I think it's just the artist in me. Like when I danced, we had to dance to some of everything. I grew up in a household that always had music playing. And so, yeah, it's just like second nature to me to always have music around. So if I'm not watching a podcast or listening to a podcast or listening to a book or reading a book, whatever, I'm not doing something, I probably have music on, whether it's me going on a walk or just inside of my house. So sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, I'll post in my stories or whatever, just like what my chores vinyl playlist is that I'm pulling off the shelves or whatever and listening to. So I love records. I grew up listening to records. It's nice to be an adult and now buying them and having a say in what's in my shelf. So I thought I would share with you all just an album that I love. Just an album that I love. Now, much like yarn, not everything's going to be for everybody. That's fine. I'm just putting it out there. If you would like to listen, go and listen. If you do, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you have a favorite song? I love talking about that stuff too. So the album I want to share is Janelle Monáe's, Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer. This album came out, I want to say in 2016. And if you don't know Janelle Monáe, she is, I don't really want to put her in a genre, but she does like a little bit of everything. She's pop, she's R&B, she does a little bit of like sing rapping. Yeah, look at the inside cover of this. Like, what? She's playing the guitar. She's giving me very much Prince vibes. Prince was one of her mentors, so I live for that because I'm a huge Prince fan. Anyway, this album is everything. It has a little bit of everything on it. You can hear some of the Prince influences throughout it. And I just think the themes and the messages throughout are like really awesome. They still hold up and they're really great. Another thing about that album that I really enjoyed is when it came out, it was released with what she called an emotion out or an emotion picture, which I thought was a really cute play on words. So I will link that below too. Like maybe you don't want to listen to it, but you'd rather sit down and watch it. And she, just a theme throughout all of her work is she is very like futuristic, sort of sci-fi. And so within this emotion picture, it has like a lot of those themes in it while also playing the music that goes with the album. So I will also link that in the down bar as well to that emotion picture, because maybe you'd like to just sit and watch something. I think it's like maybe an hour long. Yeah, so check that out. If you do, let me know what you think. If you are not into, I think there's a couple songs that might have like explicit lyrics. If you stream, you can find places. If that's not your thing, you can find places that have like a clean version, which is totally fine. It's nothing bad. It's just a couple maybe sweary words here and there. Whatever. Yeah, but check it out. Let me know down below if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you watched the short film that went with it. Yeah, I would love to know your thoughts. Yeah, and I think that wraps up about everything. Since I took notes, let me just double check. Yeah, I think that wraps up everything that I want to talk about this week. Again, thank you so much to everyone who has stopped by my channel to check me out, who has subscribed. Again, if you're new here, thank you so much for sticking it out to this point and watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I've been enjoying reading all the comments from people and writing back. It's been really dope just to see the community reaching out and embracing me and hearing what, or enjoying what I have to say about my own making and my journey. Yeah, if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Piece4PeaceCrafting over there. And if Ravelry is accessible to you and you just want to check out what I'm making on Ravelry, I try to keep project pages as much as I can, but I'm Piece4PeaceCraft over there. And yeah, I think that's it. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I can't wait to see you all again in 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll have some other fun stuff to share. And until then, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.